Hey, welcome to the Drep and Stone podcast, the podcast where two friends, what do we do?
We raise a glass.
And have a conversation.
Yeah,
I'm
we do.
Nick.
I'm Kyle.
Kyle.
Hey.
Hey, man. Guess what we're drinking this week?
I'm gonna bet it's some sort of beverage that includes, or may not, have alcohol in it. It's gonna be a liquid.
Yeah, we're drinking liquid.
Yes.
And I think we should invite all of our friends to drink along with us. What do you think?
Yeah, have a liquid of your choice also.
Sure. Go on a journey of liquid investigation with us.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And Kyle, I think our journey of liquid investigation this week is going to include an Irish whiskey.
Oh.
I know.
It's been a hot minute.
It has been a hot minute. I literally, as I was preparing for this week's episodes, I knew that we needed to discuss our autumnal beers, which we did last week.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? I want to get through some of the whiskeys that I've been saving up.
Right.
And I'm looking at the whiskey shelf here in the whiskey cave. I'm like, you know what? I have a whiskey. It's an Irish whiskey.
Right.
That I bought last year in Ireland that we just haven't done.
Man, that's spooky.
Well, nothing says autumnal whiskey like Irish whiskey.
Like Irish whiskey, yeah.
Guess.
That's the spookiest of all whiskeys, if you ask me.
Is it?
Yeah, it's got to be. Because we're doing it. I imagine this is probably going to come out right before Halloween.
Maybe. But guess what? This episode has nothing to do with Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Even better.
And
cut all
German
that.
stuff fashion.
Just cut all that.
Well, in fact, 2 weeks ago was our birthday.
And did we miss it?
We did.
Son of a gun.
Well, in true Drep and Stone fashion, we absolutely did.
Man, when did you find that out?
A couple weeks ago.
Why didn't you tell me? I could have brought the bottle.
I don't know. I'll tell you. Okay, I do have an answer. Because honestly, we were supposed to celebrate our birthday in Denver.
Yeah.
And that trip got canceled.
Right.
Thanks, Mother Nature.
Right.
And so we were supposed to do a bunch of things in Denver and do a bunch of episodes in Denver. And that was going to be one of our a trip that I took you on.
Yeah.
Was going to be a special trip to a special liquor store.
Right.
And we were going to celebrate our birthday there.
Gotcha.
And that got unfortunately canceled.
Yeah. Milton's asshole.
Correct.
Ruined all that.
Exactly. I was going to take you. I don't know. Do I ruin the surprise or do I save it?
It's your call. I know nothing of the surprise.
Yeah, but I know you don't like surprises.
It's not one of my favorite things.
I was going to take you to the world's largest liquor store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's
legit.
It is like Guinness registered world's largest liquor store.
Wow.
Yeah. It's in Thornton, Colorado, which is about half-ish hour north of Denver.
Right.
Yeah. On our way to another spot I was going to take you.
Wild.
And that's where we were going to celebrate our birthday.
That would have been cool.
But
Milton head of the plans.
Yeah. So all of that to say, we're doing an Irish whiskey.
It was the right call.
Yeah, for sure.
It was the right call.
It was a bummer.
We had to err on the side of caution.
Yeah, abundance of caution, and rightly so. And a lot of unfortunately, a lot of our neighbors were affected a lot more than we were.
Yeah, I think we got really lucky.
We got super lucky.
Yeah.
But like I said, or like you said, we erred on the side of caution. Didn't go to Denver. Didn't get to celebrate our birthday in Denver, and that's basically why we're doing Irish whiskey now.
That makes sense.
Okay. So
spooky Irish whiskey.
Spooky, sure. This is a bottle that I picked up while in Ireland. So I bought this bottle in Kerry.
Okay.
Where I also bought the Carry Out Killarney.
They have Christmas there.
Christmas in Killarney, correct. So I bought this bottle at the Carry Out store in Killarney, where I picked up the Carry Out Killarney W.D. O'Connell bottle. And I was like, I just want to get some other things. And the girl was like, you tried this? I'm like, nope. I
sure haven't.
So here we go.
Cool.
This is the Skellig Atlantic aged small batch Irish whiskey. It's triple distilled. On the bottle here, it says this is a marriage of traditional single pot still and grain whiskeys.
All right.
This says a whiskey to be enjoyed while celebrating moments along life's journey, inspired by the 618 steps carved to the monastery on Skellig Michael.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a product of Ireland. It's matured, finished, blended, and bottled by the Skellig Distillers Limited in a word I can't pronounce because Ireland.
Right.
Cahervasheen, County Kerry, Ireland.
Incredible.
Yeah. You ready?
I am ready.
Let's do it.
Did you have anything while you were there from them?
Nope.
So you've never had anything from Skellig?
Nothing at all. Little taster bottle. You heard the cork pop?
Yeah, it was really. incredible pour. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I want all that left in.
Yeah. Well, it was half the bottle, but it didn't.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. That neck.
It was that neck.
is very, it can deceive you. A thick neck.
When's the last Irish whiskey you had? Say that twice. The last Irish whiskey.
Last Irish I had?
Yeah.
It would have been a pour of the Bushmills.
Yeah, that Prohibition.
Yeah. The Peaky Blinders bottle.
It's fantastic.
Easily 3 months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't touched an Irish in a minute.
So your last pour is a Bushmills.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My last pour was a Bushmills as well.
Yeah.
Just a couple nights ago, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was a Bushmills 10. I finished that bottle. Bought it for some people for a tasting.
Yep.
And did a tasting for them. Walked them through some great whiskeys.
Great experience.
And yeah, it really was. And that was the little bit of that bottle that was left. So I finished it.
Yep.
Fantastic stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I love an Irish whiskey.
Yeah. It's got its place.
It really does.
It's unique. It's different. It's unlike anything.
It really is. You want to try one?
Yeah.
Let's do it. On the nose.
Ooh.
That is bourbon barrel for sure.
Definitely.
There's no way that's not bourbon barrel.
Got a little
holy crap, man.
Little chunky funk on it.
Yeah, it does.
For it to be an Irish whiskey, that funk is unusual.
I got to tell you, if you were to give this to me and say, "What is this?"
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's a light bourbon. It's
a super young.
Yeah, super young bourbon.
Like a year old.
Yeah, it does not smell like an Irish.
Some white dog qualities to it.
It really does. And I don't know if that's a knock yet.
And like a hefty amount of like cream corn. It doesn't have the shortbready notes.
No, nothing at all.
That you're kind of used
to.
There's
no cookie. There's no banana note. Like Bushmills to me screams a banana note, and I know that that's not all Irish whiskey.
Oh my God, did you roll it?
But I feel like there's two prominent notes in Irish whiskey.
There's funk just turned into like underpants.
Oh no,
real quick.
There's two notes of Irish whiskey to me.
Yeah.
There's shortbread and there's banana.
Yeah.
And shortbread leans more Jameson, and banana leans more Bushmills.
Yeah.
And you said this leans underpants.
Bushmills is such a delightful marriage of the two, of that banana and shortbread loveliness. And it's hard to beat for me right now, man. Like I love that Shelby Unlimited.
Yeah, that's great.
So good.
This stuff though.
Yeah, there's like there's like a cheap peanut butter thing, like a Nutter Butter,
like a dollar store peanut butter,
like a Nutter Butter, kind of quality to it.
Oh yeah, what's the that cookie that's like man, it's not Nutter Butter, but it's got peanut butter in it, and it's got like triangle ridges. Man, what are those called? Maybe it is a Nutter Butter. No, what's the peanut?
Nutter Butter is shaped like a peanut.
Yeah, no, it's not Nutter Butter.
Yeah,
it's like a peanut. I'm gonna look it up because that's exactly what it is to me.
Yeah, it's almost like gas station, and you're getting like peanut butter and crackers in a pack. Like Lance in your pants. Kind of crackers.
Lance in your pants.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Those peanut butter crackers that are just like, they're not Ritz crackers, but they're more or less Ritz crackers, and like that really like almost undecipherable peanut butter that exists between the two crackers. Like you only know it's there because like the texture in your mouth suggests peanut butter. It's not really the flavor.
Yeah. It is Nutter Butter. Nutter Butter has
peanut butter powder.
Nutter Butter has two different kinds of Nutter Butters.
Oh, interesting.
There's a Nutter Butter that looks like a peanut. And then there's a Nutter Butter wafer. That's what I'm thinking of.
Never have had the wafer.
Never had the wafer, huh?
Just the peanut butter.
Yeah.
Just the peanut.
I'm thinking like the Nutter Butter wafer. Like to me, it's specifically that.
Right.
Because like the Nutter Butter that looks like a peanut is like a heftier cookie.
Yeah, cookie.
It's
with
a cookie.
Peanut butter in the middle.
Yeah, this is like cardboard with peanut butter in it. Yeah.
You sold me on it.
You're welcome.
I'm going to try some.
All right. No sniffing time for sipping?
Okay.
Ooh. Oh, ooh.
Bit of peanut butter.
Peanut butter?
Peanut butter on the palate.
I don't know about this.
Strangely enough.
Whoa, there's a lot of like spicy note. I'm getting like a lot of burn. A lot of spicy burn.
must have swallowed mine too fast.
Man, that is oily, like slick. not a good oily.
It is weird.
It's like
not in a clingy way.
No.
Very slick, just like whoop.
Exactly. It's like a greaser in a movie slick. Like you I don't know about you.
Go on, grease lighting. Won't you hit up that quarter mile?
Oh,
Grease lighting.
yeah, no.
Go grease lighting.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Yeah. Don't need a bottle of it.
Nope. No. I'm good.
It's very unique in terms of Irish whiskey. Can't think of an Irish whiskey I've ever had that was anywhere in that realm, in that ballpark.
You ever drank lighter fluid?
No.
No, me neither.
No. But in my imagination.
No, you know what? It's the what's the tiki torch fuel? It's not exactly kerosene, but something like that.
Right. It's got a little bit of that twang to it.
It's medicinal. There's some medicinal qualities there that I'm just not.
Yeah. There's some like very much just like rubbing alcohol.
Yeah.
On the back end of it, like you put rubbing alcohol in a peanut butter jar and
it's swish it
swirled
around.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, isopropyl. It's very isopropyl for sure. It feels very young. I mean, it's got some nice color, but it feels very young. It's almost like an Irish whiskey that wants to be a very young bourbon in the not great way.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
the peanut butter quality of it is so bizarre to me from an Irish.
Exactly.
Because I've never gotten that quality in any Irish. Like, it's so strange. And just like the specific of like the peanut butter powdery peanut butter stuff that comes in, like
powdered peanut butter. That's exactly. It's like that powdered peanut butter.
Yeah. Cool. That's good.
No. And the problem is like, I love Irish whiskey. That ain't it.
Yeah. I mean, it is funny when we come across those like that West Cork. It's incredible almost that you can have Irish whiskey that it seems so you can't miss with it.
Right.
But then, no, but you found a way.
I think for us is like, these are, I don't know how big Skellig is.
Right.
I know just from conversations with Dahi that West Cork is a pretty massive producer.
Right.
But like, I know how good Irish whiskey can be.
Right.
And then you get something like this, and maybe this is just this particular bottle. I'm sure they have other expressions. I don't want to completely dog them.
Right.
But I know how good Irish whiskey can be, and I know how interesting Irish whiskey can be. And you get something like that, and you're like, oh,
okay,
that's disappointing.
Right.
And there it is.
There it is.
That's disappointing.
The Skellig.
And
it's not. It's just their Skellig Atlantic age.
Yeah, I don't think we ever said an ABV 40%. It doesn't say how old it is, but I'm gonna say, man, it can't be very old.
All right, Nick, we've had some whiskey.
Yes, we have.
What should we talk about?
Well, I had a birthday a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And I think like every time a birthday comes around, I do a little bit of self-reflection and think about the year, think about where I am in life, that kind of thing. I think as anyone in our position, at least in our kind of
dare you say middle age?
Oh boy. Yeah. I think that I think someone should reflect.
Sure, yeah.
I think someone should to think about the past year, and not just around New Year's when like that's a big thing, but like within one's own life.
Right. Yeah.
And so I was doing that, right?
Okay.
And I came across this thing on the Instagrams, and it was actually somehow shown to the podcast, which I was like, oh, okay. And maybe it's because like the podcast birthday was a couple weeks ago as well. And so that kind of coincides a little bit.
Right.
It was a post that said this, and I want to get your thoughts on it.
Okay.
If you're 37, instead of regretting that you can't wake up 18 again, pretend to yourself that you're 90 and that you've woken up at age 37 again, and that you get to magically, wonderfully have the next 50 years.
Right.
Because I think I was in that like self-reflective kind of perspective, it just like, boom, whoa.
Ton of bricks.
Ton of bricks, man.
Right.
Just like blew my mind. Not that I'm 37.
Right.
You are a little bit older than I am.
A touch.
A touch, yeah. So I know that you've been 37.
I'm over that hill.
Yeah, you are over that particular hill.
Yeah.
But like,
and the proverbial hill.
you think 40's over the hill?
That's what it's always been.
Is it?
You know.
40's the end.
Well, 40's the hill, the peak of the hill.
Oh,
my sir.
okay.
Good God. That's not the end of the hill.
Well, good, because we got a couple more years on our Drep and Stone lease.
No, like 40's always been like over the hill. Once you cross 40, like
it's
that's
over.
your midlife.
Oh.
My God.
Sorry, buddy.
Where did you grow up? Awful things did they teach y'all down here? Yeah, no, it's midlife, sir. So you get to redo it all over again now.
Sure.
I'm an infant, basically.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I was wondering why you're wearing that diaper.
Well,
I thought it was
easy, too.
Yeah, gotta get up. We could just record for 8 hours
man.
straight.
Sure you don't need to go? I'm
good. Yeah, no, so like it hit me of like, and we've talked about this here recently, of kind of this like reframing of perspectives.
Sure.
You know, I've woken up and I feel some age. And I also kind of like look back, and not that I regret anything, but it's like the things that you could have done or the things that you didn't do.
Sure.
I think it's easy in our middle age to look at those things and go, wow, I missed out.
Sure.
Versus framing it like, wow, look at how much time I have. And obviously we don't know
Or
how
look
much,
at all the things I did.
right. Obviously we don't know how much time we have. I mean, you know, it could be another 40 years or it could be another 4 days. Who knows?
Right.
This kind of like reframing that perspective of what you just said. Look at all I've accomplished, or look at all I've had the privilege of doing. Not even accomplishment wise, just like look at what I've had the opportunities to do. Look at all the privileges and look at all the cool things that have happened to me.
Right.
And I can't wait for those next, however many years it is, of similar experiences.
Yeah. I know I've seen definitely like similar posts of things where it's like you look at today in a certain frame of reflective aspects, but every single other future version of you will look back and think, oh man, I'd love to be 41 again.
Right.
And it's, I mean, yeah, it's totally true. And you look at it in that aspect of, all right, cool. So like I definitely should try to frame it in that reference of what would 50-year-old me wish I had started doing today.
Yeah.
You know, and not when I was 50.
Yeah.
And
I almost kind of think about it like, what does, in my case, what does 40-year-old me want of 35-year-old me?
right.
You know, like almost thinking ahead of, okay, so when I am 40, what would I have wished I started at 35?
Right.
And can I reasonably complete some of that, or can I start some of that?
Right.
And it's like,
Start putting pieces in place.
Exactly. To know and almost to allow the 40-year-old me to be proud of the not 40-year-old me.
Right.
You know, and the kind of perspective of like, so there are all these things that I've wanted to accomplish, but like what's holding me back from those is just me, basically. Right. And like, will I be able to say to my future self now, I'm going to start this now, so that when we are, in my case, 40, or when we are 50, then there is this, oh, you actually, I saw the seeds of this back then. Good on you. Thank you for doing that.
Right.
Versus the, wow, you're X years old, man. Well, you're just, like you said, you're over the hill.
Yeah.
Or like, well, you're already 35, you're already 40. You can't possibly start this now because you're already there.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, either way, it's interesting how much, like, if you just take in the recollection of, okay, I'm this age now, and you just look towards the past, there's that. And then if you take on this frame of, yeah, but what would me in the future look back and wish I had started or I had put in motion at that point in time? And then it also makes me just think of like, yeah, but like, man, just exist in the present.
Sure.
And
exactly.
Just not worry about either. You know, like I think there's like a lot you can get from all three phases.
Yeah.
Past, present, future.
Agreed completely. And part of me like loves that perspective of no, just live in the moment, like live right now. Things that are happening now, be totally present. But also there's that, like you just said, kind of the part of me that knows that when I am older, am I looking back at the whatever age me and going like, yeah, but like you were living the moment, but you weren't doing anything. Like you thought you were doing cool things. You thought you were doing that stuff, but you were actually doing nothing when you could have been doing X, Y, Z.
Right.
When you could have been actually doing something.
Right.
And not that like, again, not that I want to like play that kind of like regret game necessarily, but it's like, what if I were to wake up tomorrow and be 90 and look back and go like, yeah, but what if you were 35?
For sure. But at that point in time, you'd look back on it just like you do now, looking back at when you were 20.
Sure.
With the same kind of, yeah, but I'm not.
Right.
Perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, 20-year-old me would be, I think, very surprised at who 40-year-old me ended up to be.
Interesting.
And so there's no way that 20-year-old me could have predicted what 40-year-old me would have wanted anyway.
For sure. For sure.
You know? And so I almost feel like it's a bit, not folly, but like it's a bit perhaps presumptuous to think of like what's now 60-year-old me gonna wish 40-year-old me would have started.
Right.
If there's that same amount of change, or just in terms of like same amount of like growth that I can't perceive at this point in time, how am I ever gonna like correctly assume what that version of me would like for me to kind of start to achieve? Because
but I think what that kind of thought experiment provides is the ability to contemplate that a little bit.
Yeah.
To be able to be like, okay, so what can I do now? Or what can I reasonably do now to satisfy that 60-year-old person going, yeah, but you could have. Or the kind of perspective of, I mean, even something as simple as like, you know, as your body ages, you need more flexibility. This is an example. So maybe I should be doing some more yoga. Like,
right.
Will the 60-year-old me be like, bro, I wish you would have done more yoga when you were in your 30s.
Right.
And I'm sure in some ways that's the case, but also like, you're right. You can't know that.
Right.
Or like, man, I really wish you would have started writing that thing when you were in your 30s so that by the time you are in your 40s, you're like, yeah, look at what I've accomplished.
Right.
But I think it's ultimately like that again, that thought experiment is, it's easy to wake up, or it's easy to think about like, man, I wish I was 20 again. I don't know if I wish I was 20 again. I mean, maybe I wish I was 20 again with like the knowledge that I have now, but I don't necessarily wish I was 20 again. But I could very easily say, well, I'm not 20 anymore. And woe is me, I'm not 20.
Right.
But that's not how, like, I've been privileged enough to live as long as I have, which I think is amazing. But like, I'm not 20.
Yeah.
So the positive reframing of that is like, yeah, but hopefully if you're lucky, you'll wake up at 75 and go, man, I wish I was 37.
Yeah.
But now's the chance to do that.
Yeah. I mean, like I have that there's that thought experiment of like, there was a point in time, and basically that essentially ends when I had kids. But there was a point in time where it was like, there was always that kind of interesting mind game of, oh man, if I could go back and do it all over again, what would I change? What aspects would I like to edit and shift and make certain other decisions and things like that? But at some point in time, especially like once you've had kids, I can't play that game anymore.
Right.
Because any subtle adjustment in anything, if it changes that, then it's
where they are.
Then I don't want to do it, and
right.
I'll never do it, and I would never want to do it. So it's like it really brings that kind of mental take of everything happens for a reason,
right? Kind
of a thing. Like it really makes that concrete in your head of, well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't change anything now. Like I couldn't. There's no way that I would ever even potentially like consider it now
because of like where they are and their.
Because I had to do all of those things to get them here.
Exactly.
And that's like the ultimate achievement. And so, and it is like, I mean, you know, anytime I get into that kind of like thought experiment of like, I mean, I think about it all the time in terms of like college and stuff like that, and like other mistakes that I look back on. Not that I'm saying college was a mistake, but just other things where like, I wish I hadn't have done that, or I wish I would have done that differently. I always eventually get to the point where like, yeah, but like I had to do that to get to here, to get to there, to get to there. That eventually got me to there, and that's a non-negotiable.
Right.
This
thing now that I've done is a non-negotiable.
Yeah, that's the best thing I could have ever done. So, can't ever change that.
Yeah.
Can't ever do anything that would affect that.
And I think that's like the kind of like the butterfly effect nature of it all. It's like, if I change this one thing,
it's the Back to the Future.
Yeah, it's Back to the Future.
It's all
Marty
that stuff.
McFly.
Like,
yeah,
I can't go back and change those things.
Exactly.
Or I'm going to risk affecting
the thing that I actually want.
Yeah,
the thing that I want to have.
The thing that I'm most proud of.
Exactly.
Can't do that.
Yeah. But I think in some ways that like the obverse of that, like I just said, is but I can affect those changes now.
Right.
I can, because I have some years behind me. I have some wisdom now. I can say in some ways, if I want to be at this point in 10 more years, I have to start these things now to be there. And I have the clarity to be able to do that. Doesn't mean those things are going to come true, or those things don't necessarily happen, but I have the ability and the clarity to do that thing. And I think that in some ways excites me. And in some ways it's like, okay, so what are you now going to do with it? How are you going to approach that? And I find it just endlessly fascinating.
I feel like personally for me, like I've gone past that. And it's more just like, again, I think kind of where I was going earlier of where can you find most peace and happiness in the moment and not worry about 20 years from now, the version of me.
Right.
Just stay right here and work on this guy. I'm not as much concerned about down the road.
I think ultimately it's a balance.
Yeah.
It's a balance. It's like, okay, for 60-year-old me to be fit and healthy and happy, 35-year-old me needs to do these things.
Needs to be fit, healthy, and happy.
Correct.
Yeah,
exactly. And knowing that like those things start here and affect those things later.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll have dividends then.
Exactly.
But it's like it's one and the same thing. Like,
for sure.
He wants to be fit, healthy, and happy, so I need to be that now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much like this Irish whiskey, it was fit, healthy, and happy.
I actually don't think that's the case. I wonder if the distillers are looking at that going, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it just got an interesting batch, but going like, okay, so the 20-year Skellig.
Right. This is where we are now.
Right. But
this is where we want to be.
Correct.
So we gotta work on our way to get there.
Yeah. Well, on that note, you got anything else?
No, that's probably all I got there.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to know, what do you think about the Skellig Atlantic Age Small Batch Irish Whiskey?
Yeah. And what are some of your other favorite Skellig variations?
Yeah. Is there one that like I should have bought and just didn't?
Yeah, just wasn't aware of.
Wasn't aware of, exactly. Or the person at carry out was like, we don't have that one, so like take this one.
What's the 60-year-old version of Nick when he goes back to Ireland need to get?
All of it
from Skellig.
Oh,
don't get more of that one.
No, I won't get more of that.
Skip on that one.
We'd also love to know, what do you think about this idea of kind of reframing perspectives here, and how do you think about the future you?
Yeah, it's not really reflection. It's more about
prospection.
I don't think that's the word. Projection.
Ooh, how do you project yourself to be?
Yeah.
Self-project. Sure.
Self-projection.
Right. On that note, you can get in touch with us through email. It's drepandstone@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through, I almost said Irish whiskey. Through Irish whiskey. You can also get in touch with us through social media.
It's always one word, Drep and Stone, DREP and Stone. Come find us on those social medias, and we'll socialize some media for you to socialize with. And then you can socialize with our media with some social media of your own.
Okay. If we didn't already say it, we'd love it if you support the Drip and Stone podcast. You can do so by rating Drip and Stone wherever it is you find great podcasts like this one. You can also support Drip and Stone by telling someone about Drip and Stone. And finally, Kyle, you can support Drip and Stone by heading on over to Patreon and financially supporting the podcast.
Incredible stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, first and foremost, just wherever you're listening to it, just like it.
Oh, for sure.
Just like it. Make a comment on it.
Huge.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How easy that is. Like and subscribe.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
May your glass overflow.
And your Skellig never show. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.